ladies and gentlemen, welcome again to another edition of Abbotsford Small Business, where you can, of course, find us at abbotsfordsmallbusiness.com, right about here. Over here. I'll put it in the lower third of the video. And you can send us an email if you want to comment on our show at abbotsfordsmallbusiness@gmail.com. If you are out of the Fraser Valley area into the Vancouver area and I don't want you to pay long distance charges, give us our Magic Jack phone number a ring. It is 778-800-0246. We'll also put that right about here, the lower third of the video. And I will give you my private cell phone number. It is 778-908-5759. To give me a call personally if you want to leave a comment, if you want to be on the show. You know, we've got such great... I have a growing list this long of podcasts that I need to do for Abbotsford Small Business. It's exciting. It's an exciting time of year. There are so many great things that are happening with small and medium-sized businesses. And one business in particular that I want to talk to you about is it is about the wastefulness that we have in Canada, in our country, about driving inefficiently. Now, when you think about it, you think, okay, how could I possibly change my driving? I didn't think my driving was that bad. You know, when you become aware of certain things when there is a professional class, and that's what I want to talk to you today about. I took a class last week with a fellow called David Lush, and he is part of DriveWise Management. If you want to give David an email, just send it to david@drivewisemanagement.com. We'll also put that on the lower third here so you can get a hold of him. But here's what he does, and I think it's extremely important, his mission or his goal, what he's doing for small and medium and large-sized businesses. He wants to show you, he wants you to get on board this green initiative, and there's so many points why that you should do this. For one, if you have a small or medium-sized business, your branding nowadays, your branding must include some kind of green initiative. It must, absolutely, because when you take a look at your brand and how you're seen in the community, they are looking at you, how are you connected to the community, how you're supporting the community, how you're servicing the community for sure. But what is your carbon imprint on that particular community? And you've heard of the carbon taxes. I think, the carbon taxes are a little bit weak, where large corporations, they get fined, right, if they go over a particular carbon tax. But there's so much more that we can do as individual drivers out there to help curb greenhouse gases. Now, I took a course, and I'm proud of, I've got a great certificate. It says there, I'm holding it up in front of the camera. It says Fleet Smart. What they did is, during my day job, they brought David Lush in, and he's part of DriveWise Management, and he gave an all-day, well, not an all-day, but a 4-hour course, and it was brilliantly done. And I've got some pamphlets, and I want to briefly talk to you about some of them. For example, he's got some really handy stuff. He's got a fuel consumption calculator that you can use, and it folds out, and my goodness, all the handy stuff. Here's the thing. When I went out and got my Class 1 license a couple of years ago, there was a smattering of, yes, you should shift this way to conserve fuel, but there wasn't a lot of emphasis on saving fuel at that time. Well, if for the truck driver that owned the truck, yes. But if you were just a truck driver, you weren't really educated, because you really, quite frankly, you didn't care, because you didn't own the truck. You weren't paying the bills for the fuel. Now, it is such a big deal that your small and medium-sized business should really be active in this particular kind of program. David actually will come to your business, and I've put a list of things together that I notice when I go to a class. I actually grade the instructor, and I like to compare him or her to their service they give. And in a moment, I'll get into that. But you've got to see some of these pamphlets here. Idling is harming our environment. You know that if you keep your car on for more than 20 seconds, you're really doing a lot of damage to our environment. And it's really a good refresher to know, wow, I didn't realize that When I start my car in the morning, a lot of people will warm them up 3, 4, 5 minutes. It's so unnecessary. And if the majority of people are doing that, we are wasting fuel, we are increasing greenhouse gases, we're doing a disservice, really, to our particular community. I mean, my wife has asthma, and we live out in the Fraser Valley, and when the air quality gets really, really poor, she suffers like crazy. And a lot of people out here are finding that Fraser Valley is like a big bowl, and a lot of carbon gases are trapped within the Fraser Valley if we don't get any wind to clear it out, and it can cause serious, serious health challenges. So the one thing, okay, so we've got here a book, Lean and Clean, Best Practices for Fuel-Efficient Driving, and it's an EcoWise program. And I would highly suggest that you invite David into your business. And again, he can be reached at david@drivewisemanagement.com. Here's what I noticed when I was in the class and taking David's class. Some instructors come along, people, they come and approach your business and say, I have a service to offer. David doesn't just offer a service, he offers a lifestyle choice. I can see, if I was in his shoes, I could see myself feeling extremely proud of doing what he's doing because it is so very, very important. It covers a lot of areas, doesn't it? First of all, it saves small and medium and large corporations a lot of money in their fuel habits, right? Second of all, it cuts down on the gas, the carbon gas footprint in the community. Third, there is a health issue. So there's many different issues combined into one. But here's what I noticed when David was teaching the class. And I'm viewing it from a business point of view, right? I'm looking at him as a business owner. He was willing and able to customize and react to requests from the client right away. So, for example, he had taught a class before, because this is a fairly large business. And we were doing multiple classes. I don't know, they might have done a half a dozen classes. A couple of classes ago, one of the supervisors said, hey, what about the health concerns of the driver? What about hydrating properly? What about rests, breaks? What about a health-focused part of the course? David came back the very next course, and he included that. He folded it in. See, this is what I appreciate about small business owners that can react really, really quickly to the market. You don't have to go out and take this before a board, and by the time it's passed, it's 3 months, and your opportunity is already gone. He was able to take that information, absorb it, put in exactly what the customer wanted, and present it the very next class. Community. Did you know that he has logged, as a professional truck driver, over, I think it was 3 million, I know it was for sure 3 million miles, could have been 4 million, but I know for sure at least he logged 3 million miles, road miles, in a semi. And what he's done is he's brought all of his expertise into this, presenting this great package. It's a very relaxed atmosphere he conducted, and he took the time to carefully explain what he was going to talk about. You know, when I see presenters do a really, really good job, they live by 3 rules, right? First rule is tell them what you're going to tell them. Second rule is tell them. And the third rule is tell them what you told them. So he presented the material. He told you what material he was going to present. Then he presented the material in a very professional and dynamic way. And then he reviewed the material to make sure that if there was any questions or any information that he left out, he would come back and refresh and make sure that all the students had the information in front of them. He backed up his material with scientific studies from credible sources. So, I mean, I'll tell you, he had studies all over the place. He had a big, thick binder, and anybody asked him a question, almost every single time, he would be able to back it up with a scientific study. That I appreciated very, very much. Folks, if you own a small to medium-sized business or even a large corporation and you have any kind of a fleet, it would really pay to have David come in and assess your situation for you. And if he can save you money and save the environment as well, and also hook you up into be responsible within your own community. That's really, really important too. This is really important. David will come in and he'll give you a package of material. But the one thing that really impressed me most of all is this. You get a fuel consumption log. And I'm going to try to make sure that I'm getting the best fuel mileage out of my car as well. But there you go, you have a log. And you can log it, and it will compare what your current driving style is giving you, and what you could be saving, and how much of the environment you could be saving and reducing greenhouse gases at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on the show and enjoying another episode with me. Thank you, and we shall see you again. Take care. Bye-bye.